a backdrop on exactly how the reality runs itself off conflict, but also how conflict can be seen almost as the ultimate unit of energy. Like everything is into some kind of friction or conflict in order to bring energy. Gasoline does it. Anything that's explosive does it. Even the whole act of our creation is a big part of that. So we're actually in a tense spot forth in duality. So how that duality is really expressed to us and whether we can ever neutralize dualistic fields actually determines whether we're ever able to excel into an entirely different part of our consciousness. So that actually brings us into more of the question back on ourselves, deeper questions like, well, what body is primarily the one running what we think, what we do, and what we believe ourselves to be? And if you study any spiritual tradition that's, at least somewhat authentic, not really the modern day traditions, but many of the ancient traditions, you hear and learn about not being the body, actually being more of a spirit. And then once you come into full identification, being connected to a much more grander force known as the soul. And our connection always existing as that, whether we can come into realization of that or not. And what comes in between us in that realization are these bodies or vehicles or vessels or states of consciousness. So being black or being white, Chinese, whatever, is indeed one of those. And what I would say to anyone, because if you're happen to born in a Chinese body, you'll definitely believe that Chinese are the original people. So if you're born in a white body, you're generally going to get the same thing. It's actually a phenomenon of our psyche of supremacy. But what also happens is that each of those races will agree that whatever it is that they're claiming to be embodying them, whatever they're claiming to be embodied by, they claim that as their power, as in black power, white power, Chinese power. They probably call it something else. But what I'm saying is that when we start to speak of power, we also learn from the deepest teachers that power does corrupt. So when we look into alchemy and we look into the deeper systems, we find that actually the poison and the cure are often, and in most cases, together. This is like a snake bite. If you get bit by a snake, then what must be used as an antivenom is actually that same venom, but taken into a different formula. So it's the same thing then, that if black is my power and I let that power corrupt me, or power use me to believe and to think things that are not true, to set myself in positions that haven't really gained or earned, then that's something that I've done. So that becomes the foreground of it. The deeper part is, of course, in any of these deeper spiritual traditions, they also teach about that the goal is to actually get in control of your spirit and then merge with the soul. So in that aspect, the body is often never even really mentioned. You have to maintain the body. You have to keep the body basically from destroying itself in most cases, eating the wrong things, etc. But it always talks about how you need to go into another stage of your consciousness, which actually doesn't have this black and white, brown, yellow color situation. More so, it has the vibratory frequencies. It has things that go much deeper than skin. So it's deeper than the skin.